Welcome. Let's just take a moment and together explore this idea of a river of time, a story of existence that doesn't flow in a straight line, but in a grand repeating circle. Let's see where its current takes us.
If you can, just for a moment, close your eyes and let the sound of these ancient words wash over you. Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta yuyutsavaha, mamaka pandavaschaiva, kim akurvata sanjaya. So what does that mean? On the sacred field, the field of Dharma, what did they do, This question, right from the start of the Bhagavad Gita, it's not really about a historical battle. It's about a much more personal one. It's about us, about the choices we all have to make, right here on the battlefield of our own lives.
So to really understand our place in all of this, we first have to get a feel for the landscape of time itself, at least as it's seen through this ancient way of thinking.
Most of us, we tend to see time as a straight line, right? A story with one clear beginning and one definite end. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if existence is more like a great wheel, just endlessly turning through seasons of light and shadow?
These ancient texts, like the Manusmriti, they lay out this cosmic cycle through 4 great ages, what they call the Yugas. It all starts with the Krita Yuga, a true golden age, where Dharma, righteousness, truth, is completely whole. But then, the wheel turns. We move into the Treta Yuga, and virtue starts to decline a bit. Then comes the Dvapara Yuga, where it's halved. And then we get to the Kali Yuga, our age, an age of conflict, where Dharma is said to be standing on just one leg.
So each of these ages, it has its own unique feeling, its own set of challenges, and its own special path to the divine. The real takeaway here is that with every turn of this giant wheel, life itself is kind of reborn. हर युग अपने साथ एक नया सत्य, एक नया जीवन लेकर आता है.
So let's just travel back in our hearts for a second, not to some point in history, but to a kind of deep memory that I think we all carry within our souls, the memory of a perfect beginning.
In this golden age, the Krita Yuga, life was, it was effortless. People were said to be just born good, free from sickness, free from fighting. The texts tell us their lives were incredibly long, all their goals were met without struggle, and their connection to truth was just absolute. Their highest virtue wasn't something they had to do, it was just being, a natural state of peaceful meditation.
And when you look at an image like this, you can almost feel it, can't you? That profound stillness. It was a time of complete harmony, not just with some God out there, but with yourself, with everyone, with all of creation. Satya ka woh yug, jahan har sans ek prathana thi.
But, of course, the wheel keeps turning. And as it does, that perfection, it naturally starts to fade. And this isn't seen as some kind of tragic fall from grace. It's more like a cosmic rhythm, like a long, slow, gentle exhale.
The sages had this really powerful way of explaining it. They said to imagine Dharma, or truth, as this magnificent bull. In the Krita Yuga, it's standing strong on all 4 legs. But in the Treta Yuga, because of small injustices, it loses a leg. Then, in the Dvapara Yuga, falsehood and deceit cause it to lose another. And that brings us to our age, where it's balancing so precariously on just a single foot. It's such a brilliant way to picture that slow, gradual loss of stability and truth in the world.
And what that means is, with each passing age, the path to living a good, true life becomes a little less clear, a little more filled with obstacles and shadows. जैसे जैसे युग बदलते गए, धर्म का स्वरूप भी बदलता गया. And that brings us to our time, right here, right now. The texts describe it as an age of quarrel, of hypocrisy, of illusion. And yeah, that can sound pretty bleak, but it's also our age. It's our home.
So this isn't just some dusty old story. The real question is for us. How do we live a life that feels meaningful, that has purpose? Right here, in the middle of all this turbulence.
Just look at the contrast here. On one side, you have the pure harmony of that golden age. On the other, the conflict that defines the later ages, and especially our own. But the battles they talk about aren't just fought on fields with armies. They're fought right here, inside our own hearts.
The Bhagavad Gita actually gives us a kind of map for this inner battle.
It says that when we dwell on things, sense objects, we develop attachment to them. And from that attachment, desire grows. And then, when that desire isn't fulfilled, well, that's where anger comes from. It's like a chain reaction, and that very struggle is what defines our time, the Kali Yuga.
But here's the beautiful part. Here's the hope. For this most difficult of all ages, the sages gave us the simplest path. Not some complicated ritual or harsh discipline, just liberality, generosity, simply having a kind and open heart. Is Kali Yug mein sabse bada dharma keval dan aur karuna hai.
So, we've traveled through the rising and falling of these ages, through the changing seasons of truth itself, and now we arrive at the one thing that remains, the light inside that never ever changes.
This, right here, is the ultimate promise of the Gita, that even here, even in what seems like the darkest of ages, you can find freedom. It says that your actions can't bind you, not if you offer them up to the divine, not if your doubts have been cleared away by wisdom, and not if you are truly anchored in yourself.
And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? The world changes, the yugas turn, virtue rises and falls. But the observer within you, that pure awareness that's just watching it all happen, that self is eternal. It's untouched. It's forever free.
युग आते हैं और चले जाते हैं, पर आत्मा का प्रकाश सदैव स्थिर रहता है. The ages, they come and they go, but the light of the soul remains forever constant. It's that silent, peaceful center of this great turning wheel.
And so, we'll end not with an answer, but with a question for you to carry. In all the noise and rush of our age, what eternal truths do you feel resting quietly within you? The field of Dharma, that sacred field of action, is right here, right now. What will you do?